ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another installment of Personality and Psychological Behaviors and Disorders. Today I'm going to be talking about the super obnoxious reoccurrence of misdiagnosing. This usually happens for people who are feeling a little out of the ordinary or a little different than usual and have just decided that this is it. This is the diagnosis that they deserve. There are several disorders that this is super common with, especially OCD, depression, and bipolar. And so that's what we're going to talk about today, is just this super common thing that I keep seeing everywhere of just people saying, oh, well, I've been so depressed here lately, or wow, that really messes with my OCD, I need you to not do that, or wow, I was feeling really bipolar the other day. And it's just, I find it offensive, especially as a psychology major, that people are just so uninterested in educating themselves on what these disorders are actually like. Plus, I'm almost offended for the people that actually have these mental disorders, and other people are just taking it so lightly. In order for you to truly have one of these mental disorders, it must consume every part of your life. Must significantly impact everything you do, everything you think about, how you function as a human being. It's so much different than just having a moment of sadness or feeling a little out of the ordinary or having something that kind of irks you a little bit. These are very, very serious situations that people find themselves in a lot. And I'm not at all trying to take any of this lightly or say that people who claim to have these disorders don't, or anything like that. I am just saying that I'm tired of seeing perfectly normal human beings saying that they have such a severe diagnosis. So let's jump into this. The first thing we're going to talk about is OCD. And I have my computer in front of me, and so I'm just going to read off the Mayo Clinic diagnosis for obsessive compulsive disorder. It says, obsessive compulsive disorder is characterized by unreasonable thoughts and fears that lead to compulsive behaviors. OCD often centers on such as a fear of germs or the need to rearrange objects in a specific manner. Symptoms usually begin gradually and vary throughout your life. So you can start off as a germaphobe and just kind of transfer into a spatial obsessive compulsive. So treatment includes therapy, talk it out, or medications, or both. Usually both. So this isn't a situation of like, oh my goodness, his shirt is so wrinkled, like that bothers me so much. This is a constantly pulling and tugging and offering to iron it for them, and if it comes to yourself, then it's like every part of this shirt must be perfectly aligned. And I mean, honestly, if I had OCD, I probably wouldn't even be wearing this shirt because the stripes don't match. I don't. If you do, I'm really sorry that this is the shirt that I chose to wear today. With OCD, you have the obsession and you have the compulsion. You have the thought and you have the action. And whenever you put those two things together, that is what creates the OCD. So it's not just like a, wow, those don't match, that's really annoying, whatever, and then you just kind of go about your day. This is a, I'm going to think about that for probably the rest of the week, unless I manage to fix this. The obsession is literally not being able to get the subject off of your mind. The compulsion is this sudden urge to fix whatever it is perfectly. So it wouldn't just be me trying to align these two pencils on my desk and then just being like, okay, well, that's good enough, whatever. This would be unless they are perfectly centered, I am not going to leave this desk at all, ever. So it really becomes more of an issue than just, wow, that doesn't match. Okay, whatever. it's just so much bigger than that. And I don't think people who don't really have OCD can't notice that at all. So that's just one thing to think about before you kind of get on a tirade about OCD and all of that kind of stuff. It's so much bigger than what most people think that it is. And, you know, again, not trying to discredit anybody who actually has OCD and is, you know, or who is obsessive compulsive, but it's more of just a pay attention to your words before you speak them. I can't tell you how many times I've heard, well, that just messes with my OCD. Like, what OCD? You're not obsessive compulsive. Where's the obsession? Where's the compulsion? You can't be obsessive compulsive if you don't have an obsession and a compulsion. And there are also several different types of OCD. You know, like I mentioned earlier, you can have spatial, you can have just several different kinds of OCD. So I'm not limiting this to any particular type. But yeah, just think about that before you go any further. So moving on to the second thing that I hear all the time is people saying, wow, I'm really depressed here lately. Are you, or are you just really sad? Let's read about what the Mayo Clinic has to say about depression, also known as clinical depression or major depressive disorder. Possible causes include a combination of biological, psychological, and social sources of distress. Increasingly, research suggests that these factors may cause a problem in brain function, including abnormal activity of certain neutral circuits in the brain. So this is literally your brain not being wired correctly. Let that sit for a second. The persistent feeling of sadness or loss of interest that characterize major depression can lead to a range of behavioral and physical symptoms. These may include changes in sleep, appetite, energy levels, concentration, daily behavior, self-esteem. Every part of your life is completely changed whenever you have major depressive disorder. The mainstay of treatment is usually medication, talk therapy, or a combination of the two. So they'll either drug you up, talk to you about it, or do both. Research suggests that these brain treatments may normalize brain function associated with depression. So with this being said, depression is so much more than just, wow, I've had a really crappy week and I'm sick of the way that people are treating me, and so I just need to sleep for a while. Okay, this is like, can't get out of bed, can't function on a normal level type stuff. Like I said before, any kind of mental disorder changes everything about you. There is, you know, I mean, not saying that you're not normal if you do have or if you are depressed or obsessive compulsive, you know, it's okay. But it's just, like with depression, there is a disconnect in your brain that tells you to do totally different things than a normal person would go about doing it. You know, normal people need about 8 hours of sleep, sometimes less, sometimes more. But major depressive people can sleep for 24 hours a day. I mean, it's totally possible. Also, college students who haven't slept in 3 days could probably also sleep for a solid 24 hours, but that's a totally different issue. Whereas sadness is kind of a fleeting emotion, just like happiness or hunger or anything else like that, depression kind of sticks around. It is just this constant nagging at, wow, I can't do anything. And it's really a pretty sad situation. I've seen a lot of it, experienced a lot of it, and it's just not fun. And it's also not fun to listen to people kind of make light of it. So anyway, moving on to my last point, and that is bipolar disorder. Let's read what the Mayo Clinic has to say about that. The exact cause of bipolar disorder isn't known, but it's a combination of genetics, environment, and altered brain structure, and a chemistry that plays a role. Manic episodes, so that's like your really high, like, yeah, we're gonna go conquer the world kind of feelings, may include symptoms such as high energy, a reduced need for sleep, and loss of touch of interest with daily activities. So this is like, you just kind of do whatever you think you need to do at that moment. Like a very, very, very severe version of ADD or ADHD. Some people get super destructive whenever they're in their manic episodes. They'll punch walls, knock out walls. I heard of one lady who was diagnosed with manic depressive or bipolar disorder, and she was awake at 3 o'clock in the morning knocking out their kitchen wall because she decided that they needed to have a total kitchen redo. And her husband woke up and was like, what is going on? And that was kind of like the first sign of like, okay, something's a little off here. And so it turns out that she had manic depressive or bipolar disorder, and I think she's getting help now, which is fantastic. But that's just a perfect example of a manic episode. Like, just total destruction and total disregard for regular life activities. Anyway, moving on. Mood episodes last for months at a time and can also be associated with suicidal thoughts. So you have your super high energy and you have your super low energy. Depressive episodes may include symptoms such as low energy, low motivation, and a loss of interest for daily activities. You see a pattern there. When you're high, you don't really care about daily activities because you're having fun, you're going on trips, you're planning stuff, you're knocking out kitchen walls. In your low stage, you have no interest for daily activities because there's no point in living. Usually, the time period between the high and the low is about like that. So if you were going to graph this out, you would have your manic episode, your depressive episode, and about that much of an angle between the two. So it's like you're way up here and you're just going at it, and then all of a sudden you're like, wow, I have totally messed up everything in my life. I don't have a job anymore. My family hates me. Oh, great. How am I going to fix this? And then all of a sudden you're in a major depressive state. You can't get out of bed. You have no energy to do anything. And oftentimes it comes along with suicidal thought. Treatment for bipolar disorder is usually lifelong and involves a combination of medication and psychotherapy. People who don't take their bipolar medication, you can usually tell it pretty quickly. About 5 days, I think, is the average for you to start noticing the difference in them from whenever they were taking their medication to whenever they were not taking their medication. This is so much more than people who just have their ups and their downs, okay? That's just life. Everybody has emotions. Emotions are good. They're created specifically for living beings. And I think it is really something that makes us pretty human. But whenever you take those emotions and try to make them something so much bigger than they were, it's just not right. Bipolar disorder is often associated with dissociative identity disorder, or DID, or DID, however you want to do it. This can and can't be true, because a lot of times whenever people are in their manic episodes, they are a totally different person than whenever they're in their depressive episodes. Usually they'll remember what's going on between the two, but not enough for it to actually click up here. Sometimes they'll do things in their manic episodes that they don't remember whenever they're in their depressive episodes, or somewhere in between. So anyway, all of this to say, please, please, please think about your words before you say them. You never know who's listening to you. You never know what kids are going to pick up on or what adults could take too seriously. If you are experiencing any of these things seriously, please go see a counselor. Please, 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 I'm begging you, go get help. It just makes the world better for you and for everybody else around you. If you are having OCD tendencies and it just kind of consumes your whole life, go get help for it. There are people out there who are specifically spending a lot of money in college to help you. If you are having feelings of depression or suicidal thoughts, we want you around. You're not done here yet. You have a purpose, and we would really love to see you live that out. And if you are having bipolar tendencies, then you don't have to live in this crazy mess that you've created for yourself. It is possible to get help and to get medication that can help level you out some. So anyway, that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I'll be back next month for another installment of personality and psychological behaviors and disorders. I hope you guys will give it a like and comment and share it as you see fit. I hope you guys have a fantastic week, and always remember to stick to your foundations.